Shoguns, military rulers, from the Ashikaga family ruled Japan from the 14th to the late 16th century. The Ashikagas were great patrons of art, and the origin of many traditional Japanese art forms such as no, mass drama, theater, ink painting, garden design, flower arrangement, and the tea ceremony date from this period. Origins and influences. Zen Buddhism was introduced to Japan in the 13th century by two priests, Eisai and Dogen, who traveled to China to study Zen teachings. On their return to Japan, they established the Rinzai and Soto sects of Zen Buddhism. The austere simplicity and stress on self-discipline appealed to the samurai, warrior, class, and many Zen temples were built in the 14th and 15th centuries under the patronage of the Ashikagas. Subject matter. Art of this period reflects a strong influence of Zen philosophy, which promoted a balance between physical work and the practice of meditation. Artistic activities such as ink painting, calligraphy, poetry, and garden design were important aspects of training for monks. Themes of Zen art addressed the individual's search for the true meaning of human life and the greatness of the natural world. After the political and economic failures of the Ashikaga government in 1573, three successive military rulers, Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu, fought for the control of the country. They had magnificent castles built to show off their power, authority, and wealth. In sharp contrast to the quiet atmosphere of Zen temples, the interior of castles were richly decorated with colorful paintings on gold background. Rock Garden of Ryoanji Temple, Kyoto dry landscape gardens and Zen temples symbolized the vast universe with a few rocks amid gravel. Japanese art. Sesshu Joyo Kano 1420, D. Yamaguchi, 1506. Sesshu became a monk at a young age and was trained in the tradition of Chinese ink painting. In the 1460s, he left his temple and went to China, where he saw contemporary Ming art as well as studying Song and Yuan masters. Sesshu established his own distinctive style of ink painting by breaking away from the Chinese ideals of the mind landscape. On his return from China, he settled into the province of Yamaguchi and continued to paint real places from his observation. His late works in the style of hoboku, broken ink, became highly abbreviated, free, and almost abstract, as if the ink had splashed randomly onto the paper. Lifeline. 1420, born in Okayama, but little is recorded about his family. 1430s, enters Hofukuji Temple as a monk, then moves to Shikokuji, Kyoto. 1464, leaves the temple and moves to the province of Yamaguchi. 1467-69, travels widely in China. 1470, settles back in Japan, first in Kyushu, then in Yamaguchi. 1495, paints his masterpiece landscape in the Hoboku technique, now in the Tokyo National Museum. 1506, dies, having achieved recognition as the greatest ink painter of his age. Ama no Hashidate. Landscape of mountain and sandbar. Ama no Hashidate in the north of Kyoto is one of the three famous scenic spots in Japan, celebrated in classical poetry. 1501, ink on paper, 90 by 178 centimeters, Kyoto National Museum, Japan. Closer look. Historic sites. Sesshu painted famous landmarks such as temples and shrines, pause which still exist today. The accurate depiction of the scene suggests Sesshu actually visited the location. Winter landscape. Having mastered the Chinese idiom, Sesshu successfully created depth of space with zigzagging diagonal lines, expressive brushstrokes, and varying tones of ink. See 1470s, ink on paper, 46x29 cm, Tokyo National Museum, Japan. Kano Eitoku. B. Kyoto, 1543, D. Kyoto, 1590. Kano Eitoku came from the family of professional painters who had enjoyed the patronage of shoguns since the time of his great-grandfather, Kano Masanobu. Eitoku distinguished himself as a talented artist from a young age. He established a dynamic and vibrant style of painting in a large format that suited the needs of feudal lords in the late 16th century. Eitoku was chosen to be in charge of the extensive decorative scheme for the magnificent castle built by Oda Nobunaga in Azuchi between 1576 and 1581. The castle was unfortunately destroyed by fire after Nobunaga's death in 1582. The opulent interior of the castle can be imagined from the records and some of Eitoku's surviving screen paintings. Lifeline. 1543 born the son of Kano painter Shui. 1566 collaborates with his father to paint the sets of sliding doors in the temple Daidokuji in Kyoto. 1583 begins work on the decoration of Osaka Castle for Toyotomi Hideyoshi. 1587 commissioned to paint screens for Jurakudai Palace in Kyoto. 1590 dies, reputedly from overwork. Hawks in the Pine subject matter of the Kano school painters was mainly secular landscape, birds, and flowers, with auspicious symbolism. The generous use of expensive mineral pigment and gold indicates the prestige of the owner. Late 16th century, 6-panel folding screen, Tokyo National Museum, Japan. Cypress Gelargatrius brought to the foreground with branches extending sideways over 8 panels to create a powerful composition that characterizes Eitoku's style. 1580s 8-panel screen, color and gold leaf on paper, 170 x 462.5 centimeters, Tokyo National Museum, Japan. Closer look. Gold leaf. Large areas of walls and screens were covered in thin squares of gold leaf. The gold provided a luminous background that reflected light in the dark castle interior. Sen no Rikyu. Bisakai, 1522, Bisakai, 1591. A merchant from Sakai, Sen no Rikyu is credited with perfecting Chado, literally, the way of tea, the Japanese ritual of drinking tea. His principles for an ideal tea ceremony were harmony, respect, purity, and tranquility. Rikyu thought tea utensils should have wabi, simplicity, frugality, and sabi, patina of age, tranquility, under the influence of Zen philosophy. He endorsed the beauty of natural materials and simple, rustic tea huts and handmade pottery. Raku earthenware black glazed tea bowl. Ikkyu commissioned a humble tilemaker Chojiro to create this hand-carved tea bowl. The irregular shape of the vessel has a tactile quality, and the rich black glaze enhances the color of the green tea. Hasagawa Tohaku. Binanao in Noto, 1539, D. Kyoto, 1610. Hasagawa Tohaku began his career as a painter of Buddhist images in his native province of Noto. He moved to the capital Kyoto in the 1580s and studied the dynamic and colorful style of painting in the Kano studio. His most famous work in the decorative style is the maple tree in the Chishakuin Temple, Kyoto. Tohaku also studied monochrome ink paintings by Chinese masters in the Zen Temple Daidokuji, and was deeply influenced by Zen teaching. Tohaku's ink paintings, with his imaginative use of empty space, inspire a contemplative mood as Zen temples do. He was a versatile artist who created his individual style by combining the best qualities from different traditions. Forest of Pines. The image is extremely simple, yet it captures the atmospheric morning mist in the forest. The depth of space is subtly handled by the dark and pale tone of ink, and conveys a wonderfully evocative mood. Late 16th century, a pair of 6-panel screens, ink on paper, 156 by 347 centimeters. Tokyo National Museum, Japan.